Hello, thanks for coming back. These are just raw, real. I try to do what I can to answer the questions you guys have asked me for all along here. Some of you years, you've been asking me some questions and I really would like to get to as many as I can. I actually have a list. This is just a huge list of, it just keeps going. So anyways, thanks for all of your comments, all of your support. You are helping others by commenting with what feels right to you to say. Some of you are just appreciative. Some of you have your own stories. Feel free to say whatever you feel like saying in the comments. You can always DM me. If you feel like you want to just contact me privately, that's just fine too. I respond to everybody. At this point, I can still do that. So yay. Anyways, so because of what I did on the last episode, it was trichotillomania. A lot of you talked about acne and picking or pulling, just kind of that self-mutilation aspect that we can run into. It's just so prevalent, it seems like these days. There are lotions or medications, protocols for it, maybe now more than ever before. I'm not sure how well they work because I never went that direction. When I had mine, which started, it was cystic, it was horribly painful, but it started about age 12 when my hormones kicked in and I started having a period at that point. And it wasn't everywhere on my face. It was occasional here and there. And oh my gosh, they were horribly ugly, horribly painful. I'd have to squeeze them. I had to pop them. I didn't care what anybody said to me. And then, comes the healing part of that. And then they just get big and you try to pick so that it almost blends in with the stuff that is the skin that's next to it, and it may look okay for a while and then it starts to heal and it's a different color and texture. It's just horrible. You guys know, whoever's been through this, you guys know what I'm talking about. And it can be absolutely debilitating with how it feels. Your self-image is just so fragile at that point anyway, and then you have these horrible looking sores, acne, whatever. Also, some other people have rosacea, they have eczema. I had eczema a lot too. Growing up as a kid, I had eczema all the time, probably since I was born until I figured it out later in life, with my diet, which I haven't even talked about yet. I can't believe it. I just say I've made diet changes and I mentioned not being able to have ground meat. But, and ground meat would be another instance where that would kick in acne for me. Bacteria, even now if I test, say butter, and if I have too much butter, that can bring acne back. And I'm 53, what the heck? But it's okay, fine. I will accept the fact that my body doesn't want certain things, and if I still consume it and I don't listen to it, it's gonna tell me with either eczema or acne or whatever. I know that acne it's not nearly as bad as some things people have to go through in their childhood or growing up. But it's just one of those things that it is a self-image issue. It can be a self-mutilation issue. It can lead to, a lot of bleeding, a lot of it can range from mild to very severe. And it's one that I figured I better talk about now because so many of you brought it up and so many of you can relate, either yourself, your child, your friends, family members, Anyway, mine did not fix literally until I was in my, I think it was my late 20s, early 30s that we had narrowed down my diet enough that I didn't break out anymore. I mean, and then when we test, which we always will test as long as it makes sense to test. We'll always test, even though I've ended up with ribeye, fatty, untrimmed ribeye, and spring water. That's what I have. That's why I'm strict. If I venture from that too far, I can have major problems, and it can vary what kind of problems I have. But anyway, if my body gives me a signal, I have to try to listen to it and figure out what the heck it's trying to tell me. Usually it's pretty clear, especially nowadays. But back then, it took a while. It took Joe and I a long time to figure out, okay, it's about meat only for me and for him, and then for our children, Charlie and George. But it did not stop there. I wish it would have. For a lot of people it does. Yeehaw for you guys. I'm throwing a party for you guys. That's fantastic. You can do just animal products, byproducts, whatever. Great. I cannot. I can't. And I can't just stop at red meat only either. That would be fantastic as well. But for me, I had to keep trying and failing and trying. And that's where I ended up with a very strict diet. A whole food, not ground, fatty, 80% fat, 20% protein by calorie. That's very hard to understand really what that is when you're new to this. I'll make another reel about what that looks like as far as ribeye, and I can kind of try to explain it in other ways as well. But again, that kind of falls in line with indigenous cultures that just eat meat. Most of the time, they always ended up with around an 80-20 fat to protein ratio. That's what happened with me if I want to feel best, and that's what I rely on 99.9% of the time. I've done some experimenting. I have some things that work a little, especially with travel, because now I went to meat stock, and so I can see the benefit of knowing what I can get away with travel, if I can get away with anything. And again, I can talk about some of that in another reel. But anyways, I'd love to hear your comments about acne or self-mutilation, which is difficult to talk about, but if you'd like to go there, you can. And if you got better, if you got over it, what did it for you? For me, it was becoming more strict and finding out what worked for me. And the more strict I became, I actually felt freer. It's weird, but it's true. I felt like, okay, I can't have chicken. I shouldn't have fish. I'm better if I don't have butter, or if I don't have to add fat. I'm better off with attached fat. I'm better off with a certain cooking method, blah, blah, blah. I'll get into all that stuff other times. I've got a whole list of stuff. You guys are gonna be so sick of me. Anyways, I really do appreciate you guys and hanging in there with me and your support, your comments, all that. Just leave comments whenever you want and DM me whenever you want, and I will get back to everybody. Okay? I will see you in the next reel.